All right, everyone. Welcome to the 2024 SEC Baseball Tournament Game 14 post-game press conference. We're joined by Mississippi State head coach Chris Lemonis, along with center fielder Connor Hyzak. In a moment, Coach will give us an opening statement, then we'll take questions directed to Connor only, please. Lucy and Seth have wireless microphones. Please wait to be called on and introduce yourself before asking a question. Coach, if you give us an opening statement, please.
Yeah, tough ball game. They jumped out us a couple, and then we were able to put together a big inning. And man, we battled. I mean, it's been a fun week here. I thought we had a little more magic left in us. They're late in the game. Tip your hat to their team. They played well and finished the ball game. And now we prepare for regional baseball next weekend and get ready to have some fun.
All right, questions for Connor, please raise your hand. Let's start in the front row on the right.
Steve Robertson with Gene's Page, 247 Sports, Connor. Speaking of that big inning, it felt like early in the ball game the big hits were elusive, but things kind of bunched together for you. What was kind of like the mindset when you guys were struggling, and how good did it feel for you guys to kind of break through there?
Just take it one pitch at a time, one at bat at a time, try to pass the bat and have quality at bats. And then once we broke it through, I mean, it felt like we were on top of the world there for a little bit, and then we just got to keep going and getting better every time. So,
Question on the left, second row.
Benjamin Rosenberg with the Commercial Dispatch. What did it mean for you to see DJ come up with that big hit behind you and you were able to score on that play? Obviously, it had been a difficult go for him, but you'd all stuck behind him the whole time, and also just seeing the fans really get behind him every time he came to the plate.
I mean, I'm sure we all know. I mean, it felt so good for us. I mean, I'm sure it felt even better for him. We know what he's capable of. We've seen it all year. I mean, we all go through it, and seeing that go through was big time.
Front row on the left.
Mike Wilson, Knoxville News Sentinel. Connor, what was your vantage point of kind of that kerfuffle there in the fifth inning where some words were exchanged across the field?
I mean, I don't really pay much attention to it. It's about us and our dugout, and whatever goes on, I mean, it's all about us, so that's all I got.
More questions for Connor on the front row on the right.
Kind of beginning of the year, Coach Lemonis said you could kind of be an X factor for this team, and that he felt like you should have got more at bats last year. But now that you've had a full
Next question.
now that you've had a full year, to be a full-time starter here at Mississippi State, I mean, maybe take us through your ride and also your week.
I mean, coming here was everything ever dreamed of. So, I mean, last year was obviously tough. I put my head down, worked real hard, and I mean, it's paying off this year. And this week was awesome. SEC tournament was, I mean, it's just as big as it is advertised. So it was a great week, and I think we got a lot better, and we're ready for the postseason.
All right, also on the front row, left.
Stefan Kreischer with the Clarion Ledger. Connor, you guys knew what was at stake, coming into this week and the goal of hosting. I guess, what do you feel like y'all were able to prove, playing here, getting a couple wins, and then obviously these, close games down the stretch, the last two?
I mean, I think we proved that we can play with anyone in the country. I think we're a top team. I think our resume shows that, and we're just ready to compete wherever they put us, whether it's at the Dude or it's on the road. I mean, we're ready.
More questions for Connor? If not, heck of a week. Thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you. Good.
All right, if there are questions for Coach, please raise your hand. We'll start on the right.
Chris, why does Mississippi State deserve to host an NCAA regional opportunity?
Well, I think you saw it this week, probably. Our resume, we play in the best league in the country by far. And there's a lot of other good leagues and a lot of other good teams, but we finished fifth, and I don't know as a team that's finished fifth has ever not hosted. I don't know if that's happened. In a year when we're probably going to get 10 or 11 teams in there, should probably be 11. We've got 20 SEC wins, and we did. We started slow. The only reason we're having this conversation is our first week we lost 4 games early in the first week of the season when we had 7 guys injured. So since that time, every other week of the season, I think we've proved that, and we proved it here tonight and yesterday and the day before and the day before that. And we got a special group, and that's not even taken into the fact that we got the nicest ballpark in college baseball, to be able to host and set that up for. So I think there's a lot of reasons. I mean, that's for other people to figure out, but I like our group. I think we're one of the better teams in the country, and it'd be nice to bring it back to Starkville.
Next question for Coach. Front row, left.
Chris, could you take us through kind of the emotions there in that fifth inning and, you know, kind of what went into, you know, the pitching change and everything that happened there?
You know, like Connor said, it's you know, just talking back and forth and probably got out of control. So I was actually underneath. I came out late, so I didn't even see the initial stuff happen.
Next one for Coach on the right.
Coach, Pico was a guy early on you didn't have, and then now down the stretch, he's kind of come on and been a guy you can rely on. How would you kind of assess where he is and where he could be into the postseason?
He's been good, and he can be better. I mean, I don't know if he'll probably agree with that because there's some really good stuff he's doing, but there's also just getting back out there and getting familiar and not overthrowing. I thought, you know, what Pico, and I told Coach Parker this all year because Pico's like the nicest kid in the locker room, but when he gets on the mound, he's really tough. And he got into some jams today, but he is a competitor. And I thought he fought his way out of a couple jams there early against, you know, arguably the best lineup in college baseball. So I thought he really competed, and that's what we get out of him. We're going to get a guy to go out there and compete for us.
Fourth row toward the center.
Cam Dyer, WCBI. That 5-run inning that y'all were able to finally put together, just it seemed like y'all had been waiting to really explode for a lot of runs in an inning. Just kind of, do you feel like that could be a catalyst going on to the rest of the
I thought that
postseason?
inning was huge for us. I think that really propelled us a little bit. It got us back in the fight, you know, and just the argument, everything, just we were a little dead at that point. I thought that kind of livened everything up, and you know, we've had a tough week offensively here. I mean, I'm not anything new, but like we've also faced some really good arms, and so you're competing against the best in the country, and you're trying to find your swing at the same time. So I think Dakota was able to. He was just pissed and wanted to hit at that point, and forgot about his other at bats, which is what he needed to do.
Second row on the left.
What did you see out of the guys in the back end of the bullpen this week? I mean, Tyson and TD both pitching 3 times in 4 days seemed to maybe catch up to them a little bit, but obviously still still very effective pitchers.
I actually thought they were really good tonight. I could see TD get a little tired there in the ninth. And, you know, we had Schulke in there this week. Dome was in back this week. And I thought Tyson was really good. I mean, the one inning they score, we make an error, and it's a tough error. And it's also, you know, there's 2 chop balls in the infield, you know. And then sometimes that's just baseball. You know, early in the game, they'd probably say we hit some balls really hard, and I'd probably agree with them that we were able to catch. So baseball usually evens out. But I thought Tyson and TD were very good tonight.
Front and center.
See, you know, yesterday when Dakota was struggling a bit, and you talked to Goat, you know, pretty often when he got back to the dugout. I guess what have their conversations kind of been like this week, and how big was it for him to get that hit there?
Well, it's huge for him. It took a lot off him. Nobody wants to get a hit more than Dakota Jordan and Hunter Hines right now. I mean, it's not anything more than they just want to do well for their team, and they're a reason we're at where we're at, and the type of team we are, and they just, you know. They probably pressed and tried to do a little too much this week, and hopefully they got that out of their system, and they'll be ready to go next week.
Front row on the right.
2, really. Number 1, the ovation for Hunter and for Dakota when they came out, and then number 2, you guys won at least one ball game every weekend this year, and it's been forever and a day that Mississippi State's been able to say that.
Yeah.
What does that say about the consistency of this team that all year long, even in ups and downs and injuries, you guys have still found a way to at least get one win on a weekend?
Yeah, they grind it out. There's sometimes you're not sure you're getting that one win, and we find a way. And we've had some, you know, in this league, you have some heartbreaking losses too. So you'd have a really tough loss, and they're very resilient. They'll bounce back. They don't, you know, we get to practice on Monday. They'll be ready to go and forget about this weekend. And I guess it's a good thing. I probably hold on to the losses longer than the players do, but I don't want them to hold on to them. I want them to get ready to play and take this week and make us better. The experience we went through. We don't have a lot of postseason kids. You know, I mean, our group hadn't played in the postseason a lot because of the last 2 years, and so this has been a good week for us.
Front and center.
Connor was saying earlier about, you know, believing that y'all could compete with, you know, anyone you face. You know, for a guy like that, you know, that's returning. We've seen a lot of those returning guys say that throughout the season. Why do you think after the last couple of years, those guys that have stuck around, you know, believe that coming into this year?
Well, this is a totally different team. So the experiences they had. And they've had them. Connor came to a regional in Starkville when he was a freshman, or a sophomore. So those guys are, you know, they've been around and seen it, and you know, some of the guys have learned. I mean, Hunter Hines, this was something big he wanted to do. He wanted, you know, and he hadn't been to a regional. So that's probably where a little bit of that pressure comes. Is he wants to win probably as bad as anybody in that locker room right now.
Fourth row on center.
Being able to win those first 2 games and kind of stick around here longer for 4 games, just how valuable is that going into a regional where you hope it's going to be a long weekend?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I mean, that was huge for us. I mean, that hit by Connor on I don't even remember what night it was. I feel like I've been here. I feel like I'm a night owl. I've been up, and we got the night game all week. But yeah, that was huge for us to experience it, to experience the postseason. I tell them all the time, sometimes you have to hit over on that field and drive over here, and you have rain delays, and you sit in the locker room, and it's so different than the regular season. And I think this experience has been great for us. I mean, the city of Hoover and the SEC, I mean, does anybody do it any better than this? I mean, it's the ballpark, the fans, the hotel, just everybody takes care of you, while you're here. So it's a really neat experience.
Any more for Coach? If not, Coach, congratulations on the success this week.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Hail
it.
State.